Okay, so today we're going to go over graphing quadratics, and we're going to talk about it in a new form, and this form is called intercept form. And our goals for today are to be able to graph a quadratic function, understand the standard form of a quadratic and how it relates to this new form, and to be able to graph a function in intercept form. Now, intercept form, aka factored form, I preferred that because it makes more sense as to how we get it from our standard form. But it gives us the x-intercepts, hence the name. And it's written as f of x is equal to a times the quantity x minus p times the quantity x minus q, where p and q are both numbers, and a is the same thing that we've been dealing with before. We can use these intercepts to help us graph the equation. Now, how do we know that these are intercepts? Well, we know that f of x, when f of x is equal to 0, that's our intercept. A is always going to be positive. A is always non-zero. So we don't have to worry about that. The only two things that can be 0 are this chunk and this chunk. And as soon as one of these things becomes 0, because remember, number times 0 is 0, so as soon as one of these things becomes 0, we have ourselves an intercept. Remember, an intercept is just the spot where it crosses our x-axis, or our y-axis, but in this case, since we're talking about x-intercepts, it's where it crosses the x-axis. And where that's going to happen is when this chunk is equal to 0, so if p minus p, that's going to give us 0, or q minus q. So when x is equal to p, or x is equal to q, that's going to be our intercept. We're going to use these intercepts to help us graph it, and we're going to look for patterns in the graph. Please keep looking for patterns. As soon as you start seeing these patterns, it'll be really easy to exploit them and use them and make your life easier as you're graphing. And I'll make a video a little bit later about what these patterns actually are. So let's understand intercept form really quickly. Our A is the same exact thing that we've been using before in standard and vertex form. It tells us how much we're stretching it and what direction it's going. If it's a positive number, then it's going to be concave up. If it's negative, then it's concave down. And we have two intercepts. We have p and q. These are both our x-intercepts. And remember, it's because of the fact that we want all of this stuff to be equal to 0 at some point. And that's only going to happen when x is equal to q and when x is equal to p. So now I want you to do this really quick check, and I want you to identify the intercepts of each equation. Pay careful attention to how the intercept actually is. So remember, if it's x minus 4, your intercept is actually going to be at 4, 0. The other thing that you need to keep track of as well is the fact that you need to be writing these as a ordered pair. So go ahead, pause the video, and do this quick check.